Hello YouTubers, this is the Noobifier. Last night, CIG released the 50-minute second stage panel from CitizenCon 2019 on Armor Archetypes. They spoke about how armor will impact our gameplay, so here's what you need to know in 4 minutes and 37 seconds. Design covers the types and classes of the gear, art decides what the gear is going to look like, and tech art makes it work like it looks and then puts it into our hands. Armor is supposed to protect the player from damage, provide a workable environment, assist in carrying loads, adding visual overlays, adding sensors, and most recently, protects from the extremes of heat and cold. With armor, we have weapons. Weapons are broken down into the regular categories such as shotgun, submachine guns, snipers, and pistols. Exotic weapons rely on unique projectiles that may deliver damage to more than one type of protection, disrupt systems, or have an unusual charge and fire mechanics, offering the player a real skill risk-reward payout. The individual manufacturers each have their own style guide, and that means weapons can be identified by how they look. The style guide also speaks about the unique tech or ammo types that a brand tends to prefer. Some weapon companies only make ballistic conventional weapons, and others delve into energy or disruption. Attachments not only add physical variation, but they themselves are also modifiers. All this diversity is going to let the basic classes be tweaked to the player's needs. Damage types are expanding beyond ballistic, energy, and distortion. Energy is broken down further to include laser, which fires very quickly with low damage. Plasma has trailing damage, which adds up over time. Electron damage compromises EM, plus it'll apply a stun effect, which can be used for melee takedowns. Tachyon was said to be faster than light, which gamers usually understand as a hit-scan weapon. Last year they spoke about beam weapons for ships, and it makes sense that these would also make it into our hands. Distortion is an attack on pipes and systems. Chemical is no different than in any other game. Your player might be poisoned or subjected to radiation, which will be added in the future. That's more having to do with the environment than an actual weapon damage. Armor is fairly conventional with light, medium, and heavy, each offering more protection at the cost of speed and mobility. The player can mix and match. Item inventory is going to add even more modularity in the future. Magazines for ammo and space for your gear is going to change your stamina. Stamina is going to be balanced in the future so that it makes more sense with the new game mode. Player armor will also have power and signatures. Player armor will offer sensors, radar, and life support. Not all parts work together, so you will need to choose wisely. Armor subcomponents work like weapon attachments, allowing you to further dial in but trade in weight for function. There are special armor types planned for what you're doing, which can simply be combat or utility. Combat can be fighter or specialist, which is a combat support or bounty focused. Utility can be mining, exploration, with all the protection that you'd need to operate in those harsh environments. You can carry more gear or have extremely long oxygen duration. All of these have a damage and counter damage mechanic. So in the future, rather than just taking the most protection, the support player might actually choose support gear, giving them the item slots that they need to perform their job. If they want to hand out ammo and grenades, the gear that you wear is going to have the slots, allowing that type of gameplay. You will be able to tell just by looking at a player's gear what type of stuff they're up to, such as bounty or utility. The weather systems that were demoed at CitizenCon is actually the room system that's being used on a larger scale to include the exterior. Apparent temperature is the combined resulting situation. This is what a layman might call wind chill. The operating window is the value range that the gear is designed to work in. Operating greatly out of the range will amplify the issues that the player will encounter. The player model is broken down into realistic zones. These are appendages, torso, legs, and the head. Each zone will have its own operating zone, with both benefits and penalties. A fully sealed piece of armor behaves like a portable room as long as it's operating properly. As it starts to fail, the outside environment will begin to alter your player's capability. The actor status is the term that's used by CIG for the stamina system component that has to do with the environmental effects. Dehydration, food, comfort, and hygiene all play on your actor status. The rest of the show spoke about the process from concept to final product. They spoke about the damage and wear indication of the gear. They spoke about the need to flesh out the animations fully, such that a player object doesn't just simply pop into position. They spoke about how the view would be managed depending on the gear that you are wearing, and the rest of the panel wasn't BS, however it is all something that we've seen before, so I'll end there. The panel was a fun 50 minutes that once again should have probably been on stage 1, Thank you very much for spending your time with me. I do enjoy doing these breakdowns for you, and if you like them, please support by linking them to a friend or orc mate. Fly safe, and I'll see you in the verse.